Good morning to all of you. So today we are going to start a new topic, that is female reproductive system. So today we are going to start a new topic, that is female reproductive system. So the female reproductive system are also be consist of following structures like fallopian tube, uterus, vagina, external genitalia, mammary gland. So first we are going to study is about ovary. Okay, so ovary are the primary sex organs of female which produce ova, means female gametes, and also secrete the female sex hormones. Each ovary is almond shaped and measures about 3 centimeter in length, 2 centimeter in width, and 1 centimeter in thickness respectively. Okay, the ovary lies in the lower part of the abdominal cavity, one near each of the kidney, close to the internal wall of the pelvic cavity. They are attached to the dorsal body wall of the section of peritoneum called mesovarium. What it is said to be mesovarium. Each ovary is also connected by a ligament to the uterus by the suspensory ligament to the lateral pelvic. Now we are going to study the another topic, that is internal structure of ovary. So each ovary is a solid or a compact organ consisting of stroma of connective tissue, which is surrounded by a layer of cuboidal epithelium cells forming the germinal epithelium. The germinal epithelium is wrapped by a layer of visceral peritoneum made up of flattened cell, which is made up of flattened cell. The stroma is differentiated into outer peripheral cortex and inner medulla. The cortex is composed of spindle shaped fibroblast and is surrounded by poorly delineated dense connective tissue layer called tunica albuginea. It gives the characteristic whitish color to the ovary. The inner or the central part of the stroma and the medulla contain several small and large oval or spherical sac-like structure called ovarian follicles. Okay, what it is called? It is called ovarian follicle. They are seen at various stages of their development and maturation. Each follicle contains a central placed large cell called oocytes, which is surrounded by one or more layer of granule cells called follicular cells. What it is said? It is said to be follicular cells. They are derived from a germinal epithelium. Each follicle matures and assumes a definite shape and structure. A mature follicle is called Graafian follicle after the discoverer Sir D. Graaf. After the discovered by Sir D. Graaf. Okay, the follicular growth involves the primary oocytes and the proliferation of follicular cells. Proliferation of follicular cells. A mature Graafian follicle contains granulose layer. The oocyte is surrounded by a thick glycoproteinous layer called zona pellucida. It is said to be zona pellucida, which is synthesized by oocytes. The Graafian follicle has a fluid-filled cavity called antrum which around the oocytes, and fluid is termed as Leuker folliculi. Okay, the mature oocyte is anchored to the wall of the Graafian follicle through a pedicle stalk called cumulus ophorus. The spelling of cumulus ophorus is Cumulus. Okay, and ophorus, Oophorus. Okay, Oophorus, which is formed by the granulose cells. The granule cells lining in the closed granule cells lying in the closed vicity of the zona pellucida becomes elongated to form a layer called formed by a layer which is called corona radiata. So next we are going to study about fallopian tube. So next we are going to study about the fallopian tube. So each fallopian tube also known as oviduct. What it is known as? Oviduct. Oviduct. It is a muscular tube about 10 to 12 centimeter long and extend from the periphery of the ovary to the uterus. It is located, means your fallopian tube is located above and behind the urinary bladder. Where urinary bladder, the part of the oviduct closer to the ovary is funnel shaped, and it is called infundibulum. It is said to be infundibulum. Okay, and the edges of the infundibulum possess finger like projection called fimbriae. What it is said to be fimbriae. Okay, that are helpful in the these fimbriae are helpful in the collecting the ovum during the ovulation. The infundibulum leads to the wider part called ampulla, and the terminal part of oviduct is called isthmus, which is narrow and joint of the uterus. The wall of the fallopian tube is composed of three layers. The wall of the fallopian tube is consist of three layer. Okay, so the wall of the fallopian tube is composed of three layers. First is mucosa, muscularis, and serosa. Okay, the first we'll study the mucosa. Mucosa is the innermost layer that lies in the lumen of the oviduct. It consists of simple columnar epithelium cell, some of which are secretory while other are ciliated. Okay, the secretory cells secretes a viscous fluid which gives protection and nutrition to the ovum, while the ciliated cell move the ova and zygote toward the uterus. Okay, next one is muscularius. So it is the middle muscular layer. Third one and the last one is serosa. It is the outermost layer that composed of visceral peritoneum. The fallopian tube of the two side open into the uterus. So this is all about this is all about the fallopian tubes. So we have a study about all this about the fallopian tube. So next we are going to talk about the uterus. The uterus is a pear-shaped muscular organ located above behind the urinary bladder, which is attached to the body wall of the ligaments. So I will repeat once again. The uterus is is of pear shaped muscular organ located above and behind the urinary bladder and attached to the body of wall by the ligament. The uterus measures about 8 cm in length, 5 cm in breadth, and 2 cm in the thickness respectively. It consists of a body called carpus, a narrow uterine cavity called internus, and the lower very narrow cylindrical structure called cervix, and the cavity of the cervix is called as cervical canal. Okay, the wall of the uterus has three layers. The wall of the uterus have three layers. The first one is endometrium, second one is myometrium, and third one is perimetrium. So first we're going to study the first one is endometrium. So endometrium is the innermost glandular epithelium lining of the uterus is called endometrium. It consists of an epithelium lining and the lumen and the connective tissue called lamina. It is called lamina propria. Beneath it, the epithelium contains both ciliated and sensory columnar epithelium cells as in oviduct. Thus, the connective tissue layer contains tubular gland, blood vessels, and many fibroblasts. Okay, and the endometrium undergo changes during the menstrual cycle. During the menstrual cycle. Okay, menstrual cycle, we'll discuss this topic later. This is another topic. The next we are going to talk about the second type of the uterus wall is myometrium. It is the middle layer of the uterus wall just external to the endometrium. It consists of bundle of smooth muscles whose contraction are responsible for the parturition. responsible for the parturition. And the third is perimetrium. It is the outermost layer of the uterus. Depending on the part of the uterus, it is of two types, serosa and adventia. Serosa consisting of connective tissue or mesothelium, and adventita consisting of connective tissue only. ठीक है. The cervix are the terminal part of the uterus, protects into vagina. Okay, so we have discussed the fallopian tube. First we have discussed the ovary, then the internal structure of the ovary and the fallopian tube. Now we have discussed the uterus. So next topic we are going to discuss is vagina. Vagina is a muscular tube about 8 centimeter long. It consists of mucosa, a muscular layer, and adventitia. No glands is present in this. The vagina open to the exterior by an aperture that lies between the urethral opening and the anus. It serves two function. It includes two function. First is it receives the semen from the male during copulation. Second one is along with the cervical canal, it forms the birth canal through which the child is conveyed to the outside during childbirth. Okay, and this is about vagina. Next we have external genitalia. So the female external genitalia is also known as so next we are going to talk, I will start the topic again. So we are talking about external genitalia. The female external genitalia is also known as vulva. Okay, vulva includes the mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris and hymen. Mons pubis is a cushion-like flatty tissue covered by a skin and a pubic hair. From the mons pubis, the labia majora extend downwards as two fleshy folds of tissue that surrounded by vaginal orifice. Okay, labia minora are paired fold of tissue that lie under inner to the labia majora. The labia minora encloses a space called vestibulum, and anteriorly they merge and form a small conical structure called clitoris. The clitoris is formed by the erectile body ending with the rudimentary lens clitorids and prepudium. Okay, it's spelling of one second. It's prepudium. The clitoris is covered by a stratified squamous epithelium and a homologous to the gland penis to the male. And the vaginal opening is partially covered by a thin ring of tissue called hymen, and it becomes tore often during the first coitus, but it can also be torn during the vigorous physical activity like in some sports, horse riding, etc., sudden fall or jolt, etc. Okay, it in some women it persists even after coitus. Hence, the presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity or the sexual experience. And the last we are going to discuss about the mammary gland. So, this is the diagram and the structure of the mammary gland. Okay, so last topic we are going to discuss about the human female has a pair of mammary gland which is consist of the glandular tissue and the variable amount of fats. The glandular tissue is divided into 15 to 20 lobules of compound tubulo-alveolar type of glands. They are modified sweat glands. Each lobe is separated from the others by dense connective tissue called adipose tissue. It is said to be adipose tissue. Okay, it is said to be adipose tissue. The alveoli open into the mammary tubules, and the tubules of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. Okay, Many memory ducts unite to form a wider memory ampulla that is connected to the lactiferous ducts, and the lactiferous ducts emerge independently in the nipple, and the nipple is the middle of the breast surrounded by a circular pigment area called areola. It is said to be areola. Okay, so we have discussed about the mammary glands. We have discussed about the mammary glands, external genitalia, vagina, uterus, types of uterus, fallopian tube and its types, internal structure of the ovary and the ovary. We have all discussed about the human female reproductive system. So next we are going to discuss is about the gametogenesis and spermatogenesis in your next video. So